perfect day for a ride, you guys, and we're looking at the Kope from DŌST. This is their high step model. It's slightly larger than the drop, and you can see it's like a drop frame style, so I think the names are just perfect. 17.5 on those versus 19. So if you're a larger rider or you want the stiffer frame because you're loading up the rack, this could be a great option. There's so much to say about these bikes. I really love them. I've just been so impressed. Like, it's like they dialed in all the details, and you do pay a little bit for that, but I would still consider this a good value. $27.99. That's with the single battery options right there in the down tube. Good weight placement. For that optional additional pack, $6.99, and you can add that at any time, which is so cool. You know, there's this little port right here. This is all IP65 rated, ingress protected, meaning it can handle jets of water, but you don't want to submerge it, and that's pretty great. You know, you got the display, you got the trigger throttle, the battery right there with kind of a generic, you know, black covering, which looks really good on the black frame. Same thing with all these wires and stuff. It really blends in nicely, but they've done a good job even with the white. Look at the fenders, black, plastic, wide, and kind of this angular look. Really nice. A lot of times I'm seeing like the shiny kind of circle ones, and maybe the ones with the white stripes or the gray stripes, and this just, it has that nice European look. For $27.99, that's USD price, with a 2-year comprehensive warranty. You know, I started hearing about these bikes and the whole like optional second battery thing, powerful mid-drive, which by the way, this is a Bafang BBS02, puts out up to 120 Newton meters of torque, and they've done this really cool casing design. I've seen some other companies use the BBS02 with the casing as well, but it seems to keep it a little bit quieter. It blends in the colors, like the look of the frame. And you can see, I mean, look at this color matched fork. They even matched the stickers to that nice silver. Black spokes, black hubs, black rims, black coverings. I mean, it's a really well done, beautifully designed bike. And I mentioned that warranty earlier because for a lot of people it might be like, I haven't heard of this company, it's brand new. I heard about it because some of the team members and designers came from other e-bike companies, and they were like, we want to do something really special. They've got years and years of experience in the industry. I don't know exactly how many, but I know them, you know, personally. I've seen them before and met them when reviewing other bikes. And so when they talked about this new kind of a pet project, a passion project, I was really excited. And it sounds like they've already sold through a lot of their pre-orders for 2020. I can totally see why. I mean, it's neat to see this level of detail, right? Like, look at the branding on the saddle. We've got that on the display. We've got this optional side mirror, which is, it's a very special, I mean, I don't see that offered a lot, but their mantra is like performance, comfort, utility. And the performance, we already talked about the batteries, the range, the power. Comfort, they have this optional suspension seat post, but even without it, this is a pretty nice saddle. It's comfortable, you're not going to get chafing. It's got good support for your butt right here. It's got a little handle in the back so you can lift the bike. We've got a pretty, this is an okay suspension fork. This is not an air fork. It's not super high performance, but for a bike like this that's kind of a trail commuter, it's great. Got preload adjust, so you can preload that spring if you're someone who weighs a bit more, you're loading the bike up a lot. We've got hydraulic lockout, and this is kind of a compression adjust too, so if you take it halfway, you're just going to stiffen the fork, all the way is going to lock it out, which is going to reduce just bobbing, that feeling of every time you make a pedal stroke, you're losing momentum, you're losing some of that energy. So good power transfer on this bike. You can dial it in. Great tires. Look at this. This is the Schwalbe Super Moto-X. They have performance line green guard, puncture protection. But if you do get a puncture in your tires, quick release front and rear. Really nice to see that. This is standard 100 millimeter, 142 millimeter in the rear. So it doesn't have through axles or anything, but for this kind of a bike, I feel like this is pretty good. It's not boost hub spacing. They didn't quite go that large with the tires. These are 27.5 by, I think it's 2.4. So, you know, it's a little bit wider, which is going to give you good stability if you are on crushed gravel like this, or maybe even a little bit of off-road going over roots and stuff. And then they've got that reflective sidewall stripe. Okay, so that's utility. They have the rack. It's rated up to 100 pounds. So many times the racks on electric bikes I see, they're sort of the bolt-on aftermarket racks. Now this does add a little bit of additional weight to the bike. This bike, the Kope, it weighs like 65.2 pounds. It's not super light, and that's with just a single battery, but it's also, it has everything. Like, you really don't have to add anything. It's completely feature complete. If you go down here to the drop, This one weighs 64.9, so it's 0.3 pounds difference, which to me was kind of amazing. A lot of times it was like, you know, you'd have to have extra frame reinforcements and stuff for those step-through bikes, but I guess they use the same down tube design, and then they just added that top bar, which gives the bike some stiffness and strength and that nice look, but it's still a relatively low standover height. And I've recorded all those details, minimum saddle height, maximum standover height, all that stuff back at the site as I do. These are all options, so you have to pay a little bit more if you get that cup holder. But if you didn't have a second battery, the bosses right here, it really would only have 3. So it'd be like 1, 2, 3, and they're spaced the same width of a bottle cage. So, you know, you could put a folding lock here, or a mini pump, or maybe a bottle cage. And it's nice that on this one, because of the top tube, you put it a little lower. On the drop, the step-through model, you put it up higher so you don't kick it. Really nice. And then 3 bolts for that optional battery. You want that for just so it doesn't rattle loose. It weighs like 5.3 pounds or something for that second battery. The main battery pack that's inside there, I think it's like 8.3. So it's a little bit heavier, but it keeps the heavier battery weight lower, closer to the ground. Same thing with the motor weight. It's a fairly heavy motor. I think it's like 9 pounds or something like that. But it's a very powerful motor, 750 to 1,000 watts peak, and then that 120 newton meters of torque. That's a lot, and you could really chew up your drivetrain, but you might notice that they have this inline shift sensor, and so it physically stops the motor anytime you're shifting gears so that you don't wreck your sprockets back here on this cassette. And this is pretty nice cassette. It's 11 to 36, so it's a pretty wide range, 9 speeds. Shimano Altus, so this is like 2.5 steps up from the base level in Shimano, so it's the nicer version of Altus. You can see the designs and the way it looks is pretty cool. And then up here, 46 tooth steel chainring with a nice alloy like guard, so that's going to protect your pants or whatever. What we're not seeing here is there's actually, again, this is like one of their extra demo bikes because they're moving all the other ones. There's this really great chain cover. Let's see if I can find it. There it is. So check this thing out. Aluminum alloy, powder coated. It's going to really keep you clean. It's going to keep your pants from getting snagged. And maybe you're a commuter like I've been. You want the big fenders. And these things, they're plastic. They're going to be light and durable. But the hardware is all mounted inside the fender. It's not like... and look, it's black too. That's nice. They've mounted it physically to the fork in such a way that it's bolted on. It's not like those sliding cuffs, the plastic things that you see on a lot of other bikes that kind of bounce around and then your fender's like buzzing because it's touching the tire. No, these guys went like all the way, really did a great job. And you know, a lot of these cables internally routed, nice housings right here. This, I don't know if this is a housing, it's like a cable wrap, kind of a plasticky feel, really tidies things up because there are a lot of cables up here. And again, I think this one maybe should be, yeah, this is a slightly nicer job on this one. Great ergonomic grips. We've got the hydraulic brake levers. These are 3-finger with adjustable reach, so if you've got shorter hands or maybe you're wearing gloves or something, you can bring it in, make it a little bit more comfortable to reach. 180 millimeter rotors, front and rear. That's excellent. It gives you a great mechanical advantage over these slightly larger tires. And again, there's some more weight there for sure, but it gives you stability and comfort. So, you know, paired with that suspension fork, a little bit more air volume, and then potentially that suspension seat post, 31.6 millimeters on the standard seat post, and then they use a shim to step it down. So having something that's a little bit wider makes it sturdier. This is tougher. These guys come from kind of a mountain biking background, so I noticed all over the bike there's like little decisions that make this bike tougher, and it's rated up to 300 pounds. A lot of other bikes, they just say 250, so that's awesome. Look at the kickstand mounting point right here. It's far enough back that you can backpedal, and when this is stowed, you're not going to get heel strikes because it's tucked in a little bit. There's a tool-free slide here, so you can actually extend this very quickly and conveniently, which for me is such a big deal because I'm constantly like filming these things and taking pictures, and you've probably seen before, I have like a rock or whatever that I'll put and try to balance the bike. Not a problem here. There's just this little button here that you press in and you can slide that thing up and down. I really appreciate that. So I mean, yeah, hydraulic disc brakes, mid-drive motor, super powerful. Again, you can see the branding here for Bafang. This thing has a 24 magnet, like high resolution cadence sensor inside. It is cadence and speed sensing. There's the speed reader, and then there's a little magnet, and that could get twisted, and it's not quite as nice as the new ones that are completely like built into the disc brake rotor. But this is, it's kind of a, I still feel like it's value. They're completely optimizing hardware that is really powerful and more open. You really don't see a lot of mid-drives that have a throttle like this, and that's a pretty big deal. You know, being able to just ease off, press the throttle, not worry about it, and it does override the 5 levels of assist, so it's a way that you can pass or, you know, make it up a steep section if you weren't paying attention and you need to kind of change things up last minute. I want to touch the pedals here too. These are nice Welgo aluminum alloy platform. They got the little nubs and stuff. Just a nice little upgrade. Again, that should be black just because this is like their demo bike. Let's see. Oh, there's the handle on the back of the saddle for moving. This Ergotech stem is another area I was really impressed with. Like, a lot of times I'll see these and there's a single bolt and I'm thinking, that's going to get loose over time. But Ergotech's one of the best. And 5, that's like their higher level of security and toughness and reliability. So it's got a rise here at the bottom and then 100 millimeters of length. You can put this thing way up high and get that like Dutch upright seating position, or forward and get that like more aggressive, longer arms, or someone who wants to lean forward and be aerodynamic. And it's not going to rattle as much because I actually took this apart earlier. There's a core that like slides out. It slides all the way out and it's got ridges going all the way around it. So there's a lot more surface area and just a lot more strength in this stem, even though it has only 1 bolt. I was really impressed with that because at first I was like, oh. And then the trigger shifters up here, you'll notice that they have the one-way high trigger. It doesn't go down. And for me, that's, I would have liked the 2-way, but at least they have the multi-shift, right? 1, 2, 3. So you can shift, drop those gears as you're heading into a hill or something like that. And because of the shift detection, this drivetrain is going to hold up. So back to the 2-year warranty. I mean, now I can kind of see why, because they've really built this thing to be bulletproof. I wanted to boot this thing up, but before I do, this is the trunk bag, and I like how they've set it up. You might remember there's these like metal slats on top of the rack, so that really gives you a support for something like this. And there's an extra bottle holster. We've got reflective decals and stuff. Let's see what's in here. Yeah, I think this might even be, is this the thing where it kind of comes out? Yeah, look, so it's like, even if you didn't get the optional panniers like the big ones, you could have this. I think this trunk bag's water resistant, whereas the panniers are like fully waterproof. Neat stuff. Like, I think they look pretty cool as well. There's the pannier, and then there's the locking bar down here, so you could either use that for a bungee cable or the little clasp on a lot of different panniers. And you don't have to get their stuff. This is standard gauge tubing right here. I just like how it separates it from the platform, so you can put both together. That's kind of rare. A lot of times it's like either or, and they'd be colliding. So yeah, I think that's, here's the battery. Oh, this is really cool too. So when you unlock this, it's hard to do with one hand because it kind of, see if we can, there we go. See how it slides out to the side versus going down onto the frame? That enables you to have this really low top tube, which is nice. Again, it keeps the weight low towards the ground. There's just a single plug right here, and then there's 3 bolts, so it's secure, it's quick and easy. You don't have to like buy any hardware extra when you buy this bike. You can always get this battery pack later on at a 5 LED readout. Pretty standard stuff. I think that's, oh, and then yeah, the chain cover again. It's easy to get kind of lost in the details on this. Oh, I did want to say, see how this is the drivetrain side of the bike with the derailleur and everything? If a bike tips, you want it to tip to the non-drive side, and that's why the kickstand's over there, is it kind of leans that way. And they were smart enough to put the charging port on this side of the bike and up high. Like, so many times I'll see electric bikes where it's on the other side, it's down low, and it's really inconvenient. And yeah, there is a plug right here, but it's nice that the charging port is up high. Would have been nice if they'd also be able to done that for that additional pack. Instead, it's on this side, so that's a little bit inconvenient. You do have to charge the batteries independently. It's not the kind of thing where you just plug in one place and they perfectly balance. Again, that might cost a little bit extra. And you do have to physically turn on this battery pack like this, otherwise the system just runs off the main battery. But as soon as you do that, it uses them both in tandem, so it's not like you're constantly drawing this one down. Pretty cool. I did ask him, like, maybe I can take out the main battery and then just use this. Like, yeah, I think you can do that. You could make the bike a little bit lighter. Personally, I don't want my weight really high. I would probably just like take that off and put bottle cages there. So I just wanted to mention that. It seems very modular is what I'm saying, like pretty well thought out, and it's freedom on this system. It's not like you're locked in like a lot of other system. So power on the display, you see the little DŌST logo rising. We've got a pretty cool like multi-touch control pad. You do have to reach over the throttle, and it's on the left versus the right. Part of that's because you've got the little display on the shifters, and it can kind of get crowded over here because that's usually where trigger shifters are, and this is just a 1x system. We don't have additional triggers over here, so technically you could move this over here. You'd have to flip it and then the trigger would go forward instead of down. I like that they have dedicated headlight button right here. There's the eye for like changing settings, there's the power button, and then these pretty clicky, fairly durable like plus and minus buttons. So now that we've got it on, we've got the clock, it says it's 618. Battery percentage, that's a big win. It's not just like 5 ticks or even 10 ticks. Percentage, that's 100 little steps, much more precise. And then speed, it's in kilometers per hour right now. Watts, so you'll see that when we ride, like you can actually see how much work the motor is doing. Trip distance down here, mode, eco. This threw me off at first because I was exploring this. If you hold plus, everything changes red and it says sport instead of eco. And I asked the guys and they said, you know, yeah, that really doesn't do anything on our system. It was designed for if you have a torque sensing mid-drive or hub motor or something like that. And ours is cadence sensing, and that was the trade-off because we really wanted the BBS02. It's a really reliable, powerful mid-drive, and it, you know, works with the throttle. So I was like, okay, so if you like red, you could just always change it by holding plus, but it really doesn't do anything. Now we could take this down to 0, and then it would just be like a heavy regular bike with lights and a little display. The throttle does not work in 0, nor does walk mode, I think, right? Yeah. Oh, no, it does. Wow. Okay, walk mode does work in 0. That's kind of a surprise. Usually it doesn't. That's handy if you're like pushing this thing up a hill or in a crowded neighborhood or park or something, and you just feel like you don't want to ride the bike. But I've got to say the throttle is super, it's like, it's variable speed. So you can just gently touch it and the bike will just ease into the motion there. Okay, so 5 levels of assist. You can always override with full power once you're in 1 through 5 with the throttle. If we press that I button here, we go from trip distance to odometer, see max speed, average speed, range. That is cool. It's dynamic, so if you change the level of assist, you'll actually see the range updating real time, because it's no fun to get stuck, like run out of batteries. So the battery percentage and the range feedback is so awesome. Press the I button here, we go calories, trip time, trip distance, odometer. So we circled all the way around, so that's what happened there. Walk mode was hold minus. We hold the light button here for just a second. Do you see that? Like the display actually goes dim so that you don't get like blinded your night vision. Here's the 2 LED 80 lux headlight. It points where you steer. This is a Shendo by Spinninga, pretty good light. And then back here we have a 2 LED Spinninga rear light, and it's got the light pipes. So it has a really good like surface area, but I noticed that from the side you can't really see it as well because of the rack, and especially if you're loaded up with cargo. So keep that in mind. That's why I really like those reflective tires. And thankfully it is physically protected, so in terms of shipping or bumping into stuff, the tubing on the rack protects that rear light pretty well. And again, they are both wired into the system, so you're not having to worry about replacing disposable battery cells. And then there are a whole bunch of settings in here if you double tap the I button. And I've been told that you can adjust this thing however you want to ride. So right now it's set up as like a class 3, 45 kilometer per hour, 28 mile per hour speed pedelec with a 20 mile per hour throttle. So that's just like the top of the top with like the most powerful motor you can get. This thing is maxed out. And then if you want though, you could take the speed down to 20 miles per hour, 32 kilometers per hour, and then it would be like kind of a class 2 bike instead of class 3. You could remove the throttle. There's like a quick disconnect here, and then it would be a class 1, so it would be allowed on trails and stuff. So it really depends on where you live and how you want to ride this, but the choice is yours, which is nice. I definitely appreciate choice. They've also got this cool light sensor, so I think, you know, depending on the time of day, like see how bright it is right now, and then if you cover the light sensor, it would automatically activate the lights. So kind of fancy, nice stuff. I think that might be it. I just want to step back again and reiterate that because this was like one of their demo bikes, the color isn't quite right. So see how silvery that looks? It's actually going to be more like a gold color, which I think looks really nice. Kind of a champagne. This is what it looks like. So this is the drop with the final colors, and you can see how the plate is silver and then this part's gold. Again, color match stickers and branding, really nicely done. I like these bikes, and they still felt pretty comfortable because of that longer stem. But this is going to be the choice for the larger riders or just people who like that high step style. So let's do it. Let's get out there. So what I'm going to do is actually give this thing a little bit of juice and then shift gears and show you that shift detection so we can take it down to lower gear. Yeah, see, I'm shifting and the motor automatically cuts out. That is so awesome. I love that. I love that. I was using my hip to like activate the throttle. I guess in that sense, be careful, because this bike starts off in left assist level 1, and if you aren't on and you accidentally hit the throttle, the bike could take off on you, and it is powerful. So, okay, we stowed the kickstand. I love how it's not gonna like hit that disc brake rotor. I'm just gonna pedal along without assist right now because people have requested that. Yeah, pretty comfortable. The stem is forward right now, and I still feel like I'm fairly upright. So I think this just has a really relaxed geometry because of that kind of riser portion there. Yeah, I like that. For me, it gives me like a heads-up view of the surroundings, and it's a little easier on my back and stuff. Now I'm just going to take it to assist level 1. Okay, and that's working pretty well, but remember, I can override with the throttle. And it's spinning pretty fast right now and making a little bit more noise because I'm still in like the lowest gear. So this is when you'd want to shift up. There we go, I'm shifting and it's waiting for me, that shift detection. Now we can get some of those higher top speeds, so just use that throttle. Very nice. Very nice. Just a perfect day for this out here. It's so beautiful. Like to do the no hands thing just to see how stable the bikes feel. And it does feel, you know, stiff. It feels very solid. I'm 5'9", by the way. I'm like 135 pounds. I like to give you guys that info so you can, you know, compare this to your body size. Okay guys, we found the dog barkingest place we could. Got some nice outdoor stuff going on, and we found a little hill, so I wanted to take it down and just explore this and do some more takes. I'm of course in assist level 5. We're gonna take it all the way up. No problem, no problem. Wow, I was really impressed with the brakes. Like I can stop like just halfway down, no problem. And that's pretty good. I mean, again, these are kind of like semi-city, you know, they don't have huge knobs or anything, but because they're a little bit wider, it handled the hill just like flawlessly. So I want to get some third-person perspective because you guys are always like, I want to see what it looks like riding. So we're gonna do that. I'm hopping on the Kope, and I'm just gonna give it a try. I'm in assist level 2 right now, which still feels pretty peppy. I mean, I'm like 20 kilometers per hour and I'm barely pedaling. And then of course you can juice it. Good brakes. And I think I'm gonna try these fenders out here. I got a little bit of splashing going on off to the sides right there, so as wide as these are, that might be something to think about depending on what kind of clothes you're wearing. This time I'm gonna shift down to a lower gear like this, and juice it. Same thing, nice and easy. Made it all the way up, no pedaling. And that's really nice. That's exactly the kind of performance you want sometimes. There we go. Oh boy. Nice. Well guys, that was a blast. Super exciting to see these bikes. I'd love to hear back. It's always fun, especially with a new company, to hear how things are performing. But having seen a lot of these components and stuff, and knowing the guys behind the company a little bit from other projects, I feel like this is going to be a winner. I hope you have fun out there and can really enjoy yourself. Maybe like a his and hers setup, or just someone who's commuting and they want something like reliable but still capable and comfortable. This is going to be a good option. I do have a comparison tool back at the site, so you can compare these two in terms of size and everything. Compare them to other bikes if they're sold out by the time you get to this. Great, you know, you might have to wait till next year, but I think it could be worth it. It's an exciting product for me. Love you guys. Ride safe. We'll see you next time.